Hey everyone, Mike Burke here with InsideRealEstatePhotography.com, and in this video we're going to discuss shooting real estate videos in vertical orientation for use in social media reels. So as I'm sure you already know, social media platforms are a very popular way for agents to promote and advertise their listings online. As such, the demand for videos shot in vertical orientation for use in reels on platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, things like that, is on the rise. Lately, I've been getting more and more requests from my clients for vertical videos, so I thought this was a very relevant topic to include here on this channel. In this video, I'm going to go over some different options on how you can shoot vertical video for these purposes, and also some quick ideas on how you might be able to market these to your clients. Also in this video, I'm going to address the scenario where a client wants a horizontal and vertical version of the same video and how I handle that. I'm also going to briefly touch on handling and exporting these type of videos and editing as well. Before we continue on with this video, I just want to share a quick word about our sponsor, Pixelmob. Let's face it, if you're someone looking for editing help, trying to find a real estate photo editor can be a daunting task. There are so many of them out there and it's almost impossible to know which ones are trustworthy and do good work. That's where Pixelmob comes in and helps you take the guesswork out of finding a reputable editor and connects you with the right people to do the job. Pixelmob is a website that links you to available editors capable of doing just about any sort of real estate photo editing you can imagine, including HDR blending, flambient, virtual staging, object removal, etc. The best part of all is that Pixelmob vets all the editors prior to allowing them onto their platform to ensure that they can indeed deliver on what they say they can. I also really like that there's a peer review system where photographers can rate the editors from 1 to 5 stars, giving you further tools and helping you choose the best editor to work with for your particular job. The editor also does not get paid until you are satisfied with your order. There's been such a sore need for something like Pixelmob in our industry, which is why I teamed up with these guys to help get the word out, because I think a lot of us could benefit from this. It's completely free to sign up, and if you use my link pixelmob.com/IREP, you will receive $25 in credit towards your first order, so there's no reason not to at least give it a try. You'll also find that link down in the description of this video. Firstly, let's go over a couple of avenues you might take to shoot vertical videos. The first option would be using your camera and gimbal setup that you would use to shoot a traditional real estate walkthrough video, except using a vertical mount to mount your camera vertically on the gimbal. As you can see here, I have my camera mounted vertically using a vertical mount over here that you have to purchase separately. The DJI RS3 Pro has a vertical mount available for it for $50. If you go to buy it online, it does say it's for the RS2, but it works for the RS3 as well. Obviously, I'm using it on the RS3. I've been using it out in the field, it works fine, there's no compatibility issues. So if you're looking to vertically mount your camera on a DJI gimbal, this would be the way to go. If you have a different type of gimbal or looking to a different route, the other option would be to buy a cage for your camera so you can mount it vertically that way as well. If you're interested in any of these items, I will link to them down in the description below. At that point, you would just shoot the video as you would any other walkthrough video. You would just be keeping it short for the purpose of a reel, since there's a time limit on that. So you would only be shooting the main rooms and main living spaces. The other option for shooting vertical videos is to use your phone and a phone gimbal like the DJI Osmo Mobile 6 that I have here, which is a great buy at only $160. Now I know this is controversial and some of you may have very strong feelings against shooting videos meant for professional purposes on your phone. I have mixed feelings about that myself, and I'll get into that in a moment. I did recently purchase the Osmo Mobile Gimbal, as you can see, to experiment with, and it's a great little tool, and the app that comes with it is also pretty great because it allows you to access your camera settings on your phone in a more professional and accessible way. It's a similar user interface to DJI's drone apps if you're familiar with any of those. With the phone, I've been shooting in 4K 60 frames per second and slowing the footage down later in editing. I prefer to shoot in 120 frames per second for real estate videos on my actual camera, but unfortunately on the phone, this is an iPhone 13 Pro by the way, there's no 120 frames per second option in 4K or HD, but 60 frames per second does the trick. One of the downsides to shooting video on the phone, other than the obvious ones of it having an inferior lens compared to the camera and also an inferior sensor compared to the camera, is that you can't manually set white balance or ISO. All right, now let me show you quickly a sample reel video, vertical video that I shot with the phone and the Osmo Mobile Gimbal, just to give you an idea of what the quality's like. So as you can see, the phone is capable of shooting some pretty good video. What did you guys think about that footage? Please leave a comment down below and let me know. As I mentioned, I just recently bought this Osmo mobile gimbal, so I haven't yet implemented a phone video product as an add-on to my services as of yet. Up until this point, I've been strictly shooting everything with my camera. I bought the Osmo because it's fairly inexpensive and I was curious to see what kind of quality I can get out of it, and I'm pretty impressed with it for what it is. As I mentioned before, my conflict is using this as a professional tool and how shooting video on my phone might be received by my clients. I want to share my thoughts with you about that right now. So the problem with all this and what this all comes down to for me is differentiating the traditional video walkthrough product from a social media Reels vertical video product. To me, the traditional video walkthrough product is a more high-end, more expensive product. The vertical Reels video is something I'm thinking of marketing as a cheaper add-on, simpler video option that is inferior to the traditional video walkthrough. This would be something you would quickly shoot in about 20 minutes, just grabbing a few nice shots of the main rooms of the house, quickly editing it together later, and slapping some music on it. The hope is here that having a cheaper add-on video product will entice more clients to try out video and see its value, and hopefully order more video products from you in the future. This is why I'm thinking this lower cost social media Reels video add-on service will be shot with the phone and Osmo gimbal setup instead of the professional camera and gimbal setup. From a marketing perspective, I just feel that it clearly demonstrates to the client the difference between these two products and justifies the higher cost for the traditional video walkthrough product, being that it's shot on more expensive and professional equipment. It's just much easier for the clients to understand the difference between these products this way. My concern with shooting both of these products with the professional camera and gimbal setup is that it's confusing to the clients and it may sabotage sales of your more expensive video walkthrough product. In other words, people may not want to order your more expensive traditional video walkthrough product anymore if they feel like they're getting basically the same thing shot on the same equipment, only in vertical orientation and a little shorter for less money. Do you see what I'm getting at here? There's no clear right answer here, and I'm struggling with all this myself. Only time will tell. As I mentioned, I haven't really implemented this product yet, but as of right now, I'm leaning towards this social media vertical video option add-on being shot with the phone. I've just been giving this all a lot of thought lately and been experimenting with the phone and the gimbal, so I just thought I'd share some of my thoughts and experiences with you in case you're considering some of all this as well. Soon I'm going to be sending an email blast out to my clients offering this new social media Reels video product at a fairly good price, and I'll see how many of them go for it. I'll have to keep you guys posted in the comment section of this video about how this is going over the next year or so and how this pans out, but I'm optimistic about it. Are any of you guys out there right now already offering a product shot on your phone? If so, how's it going? Please let us know in the comments below. All right, now I'm just going to quickly touch on handling this vertical video footage in editing and how to export it, and also the scenario where a client wants both a vertical and horizontal version of a video. Okay, so I have a new Premiere Pro project open here, but before we get into this, what I noticed was that I had some stuttering footage from the phone clips for whatever reason, I don't know why. So what I ended up having to do is convert them in Media Encoder. So if you just open Media Encoder, and if you double click on this box, you can import clips. So I have, my clips are all here from my phone, and just gonna select all these and open. Now that we have all the clips in here, all you have to do now is just hit Command A or Control A just to select all of them, and then I just converted them to Apple ProRes. You can just do Apple ProRes 422 and it'll change all the now presets to that, and then you would just select where you want to output these to and hit choose, and then hit the play button and let these render out. That'll save you from any stuttering issues like I came across. So now over to Premiere. Once your clips finish exporting from Media Encoder, I'm just gonna import here. I can just double click on this bin window, and I have in my folder this converted folder that has all my converted files to ProRes, and I'm just gonna select all these and import. All right, so now that these are all imported into Premiere, the first thing we have to do is convert the frame rate to 24 frames per second. This is the same thing I would do for a regular real estate video, obviously, but just really quickly, you just control click or right click on it and then go to modify interpret footage, and then you go to assume this frame rate, which is 23.976 or 24 frames per second. Just hit OK. Now all these clips will be in slow motion. All you would do now is just drag one of these into the timeline here, and that will create a sequence for you based on the settings of that clip. So now I just want to go in here, and you can right click, or you can, first of all, you can rename this to whatever you want, and then you can right click or control click on this, and I want to go to sequence settings. I just want to reduce this to 1080, which is, horizontal 1080 is 1920 by 1080. So we want this to be 1080 by 1920. I'm just gonna now hit OK, and everything else is all good. As you can see, it's zoomed in, so that will give you some play you can zoom in. I always like to shoot in 4K whenever I can, the higher quality and also the ability to crop in on it if you want to. You would just need to reduce this. I just go to scale here on the clip and go to 50, and now it's full size again. So, say I wanted this to be a little bit more punched in, maybe like 70, like I can do that now, and I can, reposition this. I have some room to play around. I have the resolution to, recompose this shot any way I want to. So it just gives you more flexibility. So I like 4K whenever possible. So then you would just go through and edit this video together with all these clips, however you normally edit your videos. No difference there as opposed to a horizontal video. I did find that these clips bounced a lot, so the one thing I did end up doing was going to effects here, and if you type in warp stabilizer here, this stabilizes footage. If you probably might already know that if you're already doing videos like this a lot, but the Osmo gimbal is so light that I just found that there's no weight to it, so it's very easy to have bouncy footage. So you really got to try to walk as smooth as possible. But the warp stabilizer seemed to take care of most of that. So a lot of the clips I found that I had to use warp stabilizer on, just so you know. So then after your clips were all edited together, then you could just go to export, and whatever preset you use, I made this preset export for YouTube, but it's really export for anything online. It's got a higher bit rate to it, so it can really hold up to compression from a lot of these sites. So if you want to see just one thing you want to pay attention to, just make sure it's 1080 by 1920, which is matching the source, because you want it to be vertical, obviously, when it exports. And if you're interested in my settings, profile high, level 4.2, and this is the most important part, bitrate encoding CBR, target bitrate is 40, and audio is just AAC 48,000 hertz, and bitrate is 320. So that's really all the settings I changed there. And then you would just export this. All right, so very quickly, I also wanted to touch base on converting a horizontal to a vertical video. If you have to do that, it's not ideal. You have to do major cropping to the clip, so you're gonna lose a lot of the image, and some clips just won't even work visually because you're cropping so much. This is not ideal. I wouldn't recommend shooting a horizontal video to end up vertical. If the intention is to make it a vertical video, just shoot it vertically from the get-go. But I've had to do this numerous times lately where a client wanted both versions. If a client wants a real version, like a vertical version, I'm thinking the way to go maybe is even just shooting a vertical clips, shoot the video horizontally, then go back and shoot some vertical clips. I know it takes more time to shoot. I don't know, like that may be a better solution to this, but if you do have to do this, this is basically just what I do. So I'll edit the video horizontally first, and then after that's done, just go to the sequence. Here's the horizontal sequence, and I'll just control click on that, or right click, and then just go to duplicate. So I'll duplicate that, and then you can just change this to vertical, and then just select that. So now we have this vertical sequence here, and then what you would do is on the sequence here, again, right or control click on it, and go to sequence settings, and instead of 1920 by 1080, we want this to be 1080 by 1920, and then you could hit OK, and yes, OK. So now you can see we're in vertical format. You would just go to scale and put 100, and that will, fill the frame. I think you even have a little bit more play. Yeah, like it can be, 91 will fill the frame, and then you would just have to go through and do that to each clip so it fills the frame, and then you can, reposition these. So this is what I mean, it's cropping all this off over here and all this off over here, so it's,
you know, you can reposition the frame, and so that that works, but you're losing a lot of the other information in the frame. Another thing I want to say is that I have the A7S III camera, which I can shoot 4K 120 frames per second. If you're shooting HD, it's 1080, so you're gonna have to upscale your footage, so you're gonna lose some quality there. If you're shooting an HD 120 frames per second or whatever, but if you have a camera that shoots 4K 60 or 4K 120 like the A7S III that I have does, or the A7 IV has 4K 60, but there's a crop on it, I believe. But anyway, if it's not in 4K, you're gonna be upscaling your footage to fill this frame. So it's gonna be like, instead of 100, the scale is not gonna be 100, it's gonna be like 150. So you're gonna be stretching that footage, and you're gonna lose quality on it too. So that's the other downside to it. But anyway, that's how I've been dealing with that scenario, and just trying to make the best vertical video out of the clips that I can. There's caveats to this, so I just wanted to point that out, and that's how I've been dealing with it.
All right guys, that's it for this video. I hope you found it informative. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate your support. Also, definitely check down in the description. Again, I'll link to these products down there. Also down there, I have links to editing practice packs that I've created, sky replacement pack. I have a link to my website, which has gear recommendations. I also have a link to my Patreon page, which gives you access to my private Discord group where you can consult with me directly. There's also a great group of real estate photographers in there that are helping each other out with their business. So if that's something you're interested in, please check that out. Thanks again so much for watching this video, and I'll see you again soon on the next one.